Hello everyone, welcome to Learning English. This is the third episode on prepositions. In the first episode, we learned the correct use of certain prepositions. In the second video, we solved some exercises set on prepositions in the first PUC English workbook. In this video today, I'm going to continue those exercises and find out the correct prepositions to be used in the context or fill in the blanks. Here, we will learn prepositions of place, time, and manner, movement, all that through several examples once again set on prepositions in the first PUC English workbook. Let us start with the prepositions of place. Look at these pictures. Below each of them, write the appropriate preposition of place given in brackets. The prepositions given in brackets are beside, below, behind, under, on, over, in front of, above. We have to choose the correct preposition and fill in the blank here. The first one, A. Look at the first one and the second one before we fill in the blanks. I will give you two prepositions, over and above. Which one do we really fill in the first one? This is over. Why is it over? You all know why and when we use over and above. That we discussed already. This is over. When you say over, the object is not too far from you. With an umbrella over my head, I could protect from rain. So with an umbrella over my head. So when you say over, it is not too far from you. When you say above, it means higher than. So we are flying above the clouds if you are in an aeroplane. Above is something that is higher than. When you say over, I repeat, that object is not too far from you. The third one, C, is quite easy. This is on. You can see an object touching the surface. It is on something. So the fourth one, or D, in front of. In front of. So you can say in front of. E, once again, is simple. This is beside. You know the position of the object that is in a pink color here is beside this object which is in black color. F. Once again, is it under or below? This confusion is always there. So this is below. When you say below, there must be a considerable space between two objects. Exactly opposite to that is G here, that is under. When you say under, you don't see any space or gap between two objects. He kept the paper under the carpet, which means this object has in contact with another, but exactly opposite to what we learned earlier, on. This is other way around, under. The last one here is behind. This is quite easily identifiable. Behind or in front of. D and H are opposite to one another, like C and G are opposite to one another. But the difficulty here is that over, above, below, under. Such prepositions sometimes confuse us. We use above for different reasons in a different context, even over for that matter. The bird flew over the lake. So look at that, or above. When we say, or when we write a letter, we sometimes say, the above mentioned reasons are something like that. So above there is used in a different way altogether. So it is, that is why we say appropriate preposition, not the correct preposition. There is nothing like a correct preposition. It's only about its appropriateness. Well, after the prepositions of places, we will go to learn prepositions of time. There are certain prepositions we use to mention time. It may be hours in a day, or it may be days in a week, or it may be months in a year. So time, we use certain prepositions to express time. Let us look at them first. At, on, in. We use these prepositions to mention or refer to time. Look at this picture here. At, on, in. At is used to refer to hours, hours in a day. For example, at 5 p.m., at 12 o'clock, at 12 o'clock, at 7 a.m. This is the reference to time in hours. On is used to refer to days. On Friday, on birthday, on my birthday, on May 7th, 1964. In 2 weeks, in July, in 1970, in 1980s, or in the 80s, in the 1800s. So in a week, in a month, or in 2 months, in 3 months, in a year, in 2 years, in a decade, or in 2 decades time, something like that. In the 1st century, in the 21st century. So time reference is made with the use of these prepositions. Or in, at, on do suggest time reference at the same time. With these examples below, we will be in a better position to place the prepositions of time properly. First one, Columbus made his first voyage from Europe to America in 1492. You all might have now guessed why we have used in here. This refers to time once again, but the year. Neil Armstrong was the first man to walk on the moon on 21st July 1969. On is used here because we are referring to the day in a month. I am just going out for shopping. I'll be back in about 20 minutes. The course begins on January 7th January, and ends sometimes in April. So on and in, now you will clearly find the difference. On a particular day, in a month, a period of 30 days, but you don't know exactly when. So it may take a longer period, or maybe a month, something like that. So in month, the date is not mentioned. Suppose you have to mention a date here, exact day, again we have to use on. The fifth one, if the sky is clear, you can see the stars at night. Shankar's brother is an engineer, but he doesn't have a job at the moment. We are now, in these two examples, are very specific. We are referring to a specific point of time. That is the reason why we have used at. Seventh one, the telephone and the doorbell rang at the same time. Again, we are talking about the precision, precise time. My car is being repaired at the garage. It will be ready in 2 hours. In 2 hours. So these are the exercises set on prepositions to refer to time actually. We will see more examples to understand prepositions of movement now. Prepositions of movement. Certain prepositions are used to indicate the movement. If you look at the picture or many pictures here, and you will know how appropriate it is to use that particular preposition in the context. The first one, you can see a snake kind of a thing, or it may be a snake itself. Across. Observe the movement of the snake from the picture 1 till the end of the column. Across. Now you can see in the second, around. It is taking a round here. This snake is moving away from this object. Or, yes, exactly. It's moving away from the object. In the fourth picture, you can now see that the snake is coming down here. The snake is going into something, maybe a box. It fell off. When we say fell off, it has been completely detached from an object. So it fell off. Onto, onto, on to. The two prepositions you can see are together here to indicate the movement. Out. So it has come out of it. Over. Of course, practically a snake cannot go over something or fly over something or crawl over something precisely, but it is just to learn the correct use of prepositions. So past, the snake went past. Through a tunnel, through a box, through a pipe, whatever it is. Now the snake is under. Then it is climbing up or crawling up. The last one is coming towards this here. It is important to learn the prepositions of movement through these pictures because we are going to solve a problem here after looking at the pictures here. So what are they? Let us see. Refer to the pictures and correct the sentences. For all my viewers, let me remind you, these are the exercises from first PUC English workbook. If you watch the video till the end, you will learn the appropriate use of prepositions. Let us look at the first one. Naga crawled across the house. The correct preposition here is around, not across, the preposition of movement. The second one, Naga fell over the table. No, fell off. The third one, Naga slithered around the road. It's wrong again, across. Fourth one, Naga climbed through the hill. No, climbed up the hill. Sorry, up the hill. So onto, no, it is into. Naga passed through, Through, through the chair. Seventh one, Naga ran toward the tree. No, away from a tree. Let us correct the eighth one. Naga hurried out the car. Wrong. Naga hurried past the car. When you hurry past something, you are going in the opposite direction and moving a little ahead of the object. So Naga dashed toward the pot. So these are the prepositions of movement. Of course, these prepositions are used here to indicate the movement. Not necessarily these prepositions have to be the prepositions for movement, because as we already discussed, one preposition can have many functions, many prepositions can have similar function to do. So across, please put the word across him. So when we say this, not necessarily we have to, or we are talking about the movement, like the movement of a snake from this end of the road to that end. I hope you got it. So these are the prepositions now used to indicate the movement here in these pictures. Well, we have learned many prepositions, the appropriate or correct use of prepositions. This is the last exercise that I want to do it for you. I would like you to pause this video at this point of time and look at these examples that you can see on the screen. And I will be very happy to see your answers, the correct prepositions used and filled in these blanks. Once you read these examples, if you want to really answer the correct preposition, I want you to put it in the comment box, so that I will be very happy to know that you have learned the correct use of prepositions, or I will be given a chance to correct your prepositions that you have used to fill in these blanks in these exercises. I hope you enjoyed the lesson on prepositions. In the next video, we will take up verbs and enjoy learning verbs once again. See you then.